A breakdown of what happened when CM Punk was backstage last night during the Monday Night Raw tapings, visiting talent, speaking with talent, which talent did he speak to, who asked him to leave, and is there a feeling within WWE that CM Punk wants to return to the company and is squashing the heat he has with certain people to ensure that in the future he could return to World Wrestling Entertainment. Plenty of details on what's going on with Phil Brooks and WWE right now. Also an update on if exclusive premium live events specific to Raw and SmackDown could be set to return after the draft is completed. The Latino World Order, reportedly, they're selling a ton of merch right now in WWE. Also an update on the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship title bout replica now being available. An update on the Dyad having their request to be released by WWE denied and why it was denied. Shane McMahon is back in the gym after suffering his torn quadricep muscle at WrestleMania 39. Chavo Guerrero has been saying some crazy things about Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero recently, and he says he was just trolling. It was all a big joke. An update on the health of Jerry the King Lawler, and Kurt Angle reveals he spoke to Kevin Feige about being in the MCU. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Got more details on what's going on with CM Punk being backstage at Monday Night Raw yesterday in Chicago, Illinois. Now, a further breakdown of what happened when All Elite Wrestling, yes, contracted AEW star CM Punk visited WWE Raw last night has now emerged. Punk was backstage and reportedly spoke with the likes of The Miz, who he, quote, cleared the air with, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Tamina. Of course, we showed that video this morning. There's actual video footage of him in the parking lot with Tamina, and mainly Paul Triple H Levesque. Yes, the very same Triple H, which CM Punk has mythic heat with, was involved in the meeting, the clashing of heads, shall we say, when CM Punk walked out of WWE in Cleveland, Ohio, at a Monday Night Raw taping nearly a decade ago. Now, according to PW Insider, Punk remained in the communal area backstage the whole time he was there, mingling with WWE talent. There were no, quote, secret meetings or him being hidden anywhere or anything like that. As previously reported, Punk was said to have spoken to Paul Levesque and asked if he could stay backstage and speak with him for a couple of minutes. But Levesque said he'd have to ask the big guy, obviously meaning Vince McMahon, who of course was not there. He was remote, and he apparently made the call to say, CM Punk, he's got to leave the arena. But it is interesting, according to PW Insider, that Punk was there, he was mingling around, and not only did he approach Triple H, shook hands, spoke with him for a minute or so, but he wanted to speak with Triple H further, seemingly to squash some of the issues they've had in the past. As I mentioned, Vince McMahon, WWE's executive chairman, wasn't there but was working remotely, and he decided that Punk wasn't allowed to stay, and security took him out of the building. Punk was said to be perfectly respectful the whole time he was there, left when he was asked to, and there were no problems whatsoever. PW Insider notes that they've been told this was not a case of Punk trying to gauge any interest in a WWE return, nor a publicity stunt ahead of his seemingly imminent AEW return. By the sounds of it, it was literally just a case of him visiting the show because it happened to be in his hometown, to mingle with people and make up with people that he'd had issues with in the past, people like The Miz, Triple H, etc. Now, all of this reportedly came about because he happened to get on a flight with WWE talent and staff from Tampa to Chicago when he was just heading home. And only at that point did he find out that Raw was in the area, so he decided he'd visit. Of course, it's the first time CM Punk has been backstage at any WWE taping since 2014, so of course it's significant, and some people aren't buying that he was just visiting, but at the same time, he was on a plane with WWE talent and staff, and maybe he got the thing of, well, I'll come with you to the arena then, something like that. And maybe people said to him it was fine. I don't know. Certainly, again, it's very, very interesting that he spoke to the likes of The Miz, who he's had issues with, and apparently The Miz was very receptive to, and Paul Triple H Levesque. And it would have been fascinating if Vince McMahon was there as well. As I mentioned, it came to Punk being backstage, and he spoke to the likes of The Miz, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Tamina, and Paul Levesque. Now, what's quite interesting, certainly as well, is this new update from Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio, who certainly CM Punk has had his issues with, or CM Punk has said a lot about over the course of the last year or so. Meltzer said, quote, "The feeling in WWE was that he was there because he wanted back. Obviously, there were talks of him going back, whatever it was, late last year, but he couldn't go because he was still under contract. Of course, that contract being to All Elite Wrestling. And my impression is this was with Paul Levesque in charge and not Vince. And my impression was they didn't have any interest in him at that time. The idea of Punk being there because he wants to return to WWE is only, of course, one theory and one people, or certainly people's opinion within WWE. But it was said that it's a theory that plenty of people have backed up. A different theory, and one that looks to be more likely right now, is that it was a publicity stunt, as I mentioned, ahead of Punk's seemingly impending AEW return. That's AEW Collision Show that's going to be launching in June. Premiere episode is going to be at the United Center, June 17. That's going to be Punk's return to the company. But then you've got PW insiders saying, no, it was neither. It wasn't Punk wanting to go back or gauge interest. It wasn't a publicity stunt. He was just there visiting, but people are having a difficult time believing that because, of course, Punk's never just visited WWE, but at the same time, he has been attending wrestling events recently. He attended Battle in the Valley in February too. So what do you think? Do you think this is a case of CM Punk gauging interest in going back? Do you think it's a publicity stunt? What are your thoughts on the fact that he spoke to Triple H? Triple H was cordial with him and he was going to stay a little bit longer if Vince McMahon had allowed him to. And maybe if Vince McMahon wasn't in the company like he was for that period of time last year when he was retired, maybe CM Punk would have been backstage for longer and maybe he would have had that conversation with Triple H. And what would he have wanted to speak to Triple H about? All of these questions, let me know your thoughts, your answers in the comment section below. Of course, the draft begins this coming Friday, and the draft is set to serve as a soft reset for WWE, really, particularly when it comes to storylines, including the introduction of the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship that was introduced on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. However, it seems as though the introduction of a second World Championship could lead to a major change to the premium live event schedule. Per WRKD Wrestling, following the announcement of the draft and the introduction of the new World Heavyweight Championship, the company has discussed the idea of returning to brand-exclusive premium live events. WWE held brand-exclusive live events during their second brand split between 2016 and 2018 before all events became co-branded. Of course, they did do that during the original brand extension in 2002, and I believe they went to all brands being there in 2008. Now, the upcoming events up until SummerSlam seemingly are all set to remain co-branded, with all of them set to be major international events in the likes of Puerto Rico, Saudi Arabia, and London, respectively. The introduction of the World Heavyweight Championship has allowed the opportunity for more stars on the roster to get an opportunity at the championship during Roman Reigns' historic, ongoing, undisputed WWE Universal Championship reign. So, would you like to see WWE return to exclusive premium live events? Of course, they've never really been able to do it because eventually the interest dwindles. Some of the shows aren't that important. When they did it back in 2016 and 2018, there was essentially a premium live event every 2 weeks, and it was just a bit too much, wasn't it? But do you think they can pull it off now? Let me know your thoughts on that. Now, the LWO, they are back in WWE, of course, the former WCW faction, and an update has emerged on the popularity of the new Latino World Order faction following the group's rebirth. Ahead of WrestleMania 39, Santos Escobar of Legado del Fantasma aligned himself with Rey Mysterio during the Legends feud with, a Hall of Famers feud with Dominic Mysterio, his son. On the March 31st edition of SmackDown, Mysterio gave Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Zelina Vega Latino World Order t-shirts, revealing that the new alliance will pay homage to the WCW faction of the same name. Per Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer radio show, Latino World Order is selling merchandise very well right now. There are currently LWO shirts with the Mexican flags and Puerto Rican flags available on WWE Shop. Of course, WWE will visit Puerto Rico next month for the Backlash Premium Live event on May 6th, which will emanate from the Coliseo de Puerto Rico Jose Miguel Aguilar's Arena. At the event, rapper Bad Bunny will officially return to the ring to face off against Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. Certainly interesting that they're so popular and they're selling a ton of merchandise, but actually the LWO, they're yet to win a match on WWE TV, or I think even since the group was put together, they've actually not won a match, despite the fact they're still incredibly popular and the merchandise is selling incredibly well. Now, as I mentioned, last night we saw the introduction of a new, brand new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The new WWE World Heavyweight Championship was introduced on Raw by Triple H, promising a new era of champion. As previously reported, the new World Heavyweight Champion will be crowned at Night of Champions on May 27 in Saudi Arabia, with Triple H saying the belt will be defended on a more frequent basis than Roman Reigns' undisputed WWE Universal Championship. It's no doubt hoped that this new title will be another jewel in the company's crown. The new WWE Championship belt also means that the WWE shop will be able to provide a high-quality replica for eager fans. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship replica is now available to pre-order on WWE shop for the small price of $499.99, basically $500, with a strap measuring approximately 50 inches by 11 inches by 0.2. The new replica will be adorned by a 10 mm plate measuring 10.5/8 by 12 and 78 inches, and interchangeable 5mm side plates with a weight of around 9 pounds. So certainly, if you want to get even more details on that replica, if you want to buy one, you can go there. It's not an ad, but it's available. My point is, it's available. Now, let's switch gears and talk about NXT. We spoke about this earlier today, but the Dyad, formerly known as the Grizzled Young Veterans, confirmed they had requested their release from WWE amid rumors that they had a few weeks ago, but ultimately it had been denied. Now, more details have emerged after NXT duo Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed of the Dyad announced they'd been denied requests to be released by WWE. The tag team, formerly known as the Grizzled Young Veterans, both took to Twitter to announce their requests on April 3rd had been denied and that they would become free agents in mid-October. There was originally some confusion, as it was reported earlier this month by Dave Meltzer that their requests had been granted. He quickly corrected that and said it was up in the air. Explaining the situation a bit more on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, he said, quote, "There's reasons that they wanted to move back to England, and that's basically it. When we talked about the story on April 3rd, right after WrestleMania, when I first heard about it, it was pretty much in NXT, it was like they were gone, they asked for their release, they were going to get released, and then they were basically told, we have to decide." So they've been working there since, and I guess today, based on the tweet, they were told, no, you're not getting your release. So they're going to be there until the end of the contract, and that's that. Then presumably they will leave unless they've changed their minds. The Dyad are members of the Schism faction, along with Joe Gacy and Ava, both of whom they praised on social media in their tweets. Obviously, we don't know whether Fowler and Reed are going to continue to appear on NXT television. It is NXT Spring Breaking tonight, so there's a chance they could appear, but also there's a chance that we might never see them again, and they're just going to have to sit out their contracts. Now, one of the more infamous moments at WrestleMania, and I guess a very infamous moment in WrestleMania history, would be Shane McMahon suffering a torn quadricep, 5 seconds into his return match in the company. Now, Shane McMahon has shared a video of himself working out just 3 weeks on from a significant surgery. The former on-screen SmackDown commissioner made a surprise return at WrestleMania 39 to face The Miz in an impromptu match. The bout was cut drastically short, with McMahon suffering an apparent leg injury during the opening sequence of the match, which was revealed to be a torn quadricep muscle. McMahon has now shared an Instagram post showing him working out with personal trainer Melvin Sanders, former football player Derek Henry, and physical therapist Luke Miller. Noting that he's in the 3rd week following his surgery, McMahon captioned the post saying, quote, "Week 3 post-op work," and saying that he'd been doing all of this training. So again, certainly excellent stuff. 3 weeks after suffering a torn quad, he's out working out. It's pretty incredible. Now, following McMahon's injury, Snoop Dogg quickly stepped in and dropped The Miz before hitting his own variation of The Rock's People's Elbow to pin the A-lister. As I mentioned, good luck to Shane McMahon on his recovery, and hopefully he can get back to Full House soon. I don't know if I have a ton of interest in seeing him return to the ring, but if you do, let me know your thoughts. Now, Chavo Guerrero has been talking a lot in the last 24 hours. We covered this yesterday, and now he said it was all a joke. It was all a troll. Chavo recently got the wrestling world talking by calling out Rey Mysterio for prostituting Eddie Guerrero's name, noting the following in the virtual signing with Captain's Corner, saying, quote, "I gotta tell you this. I just don't understand why Rey Mysterio still has to... Look, we all love Eddie. but we're not going out with his gimmick and our gimmick. It was Los Guerrero's gimmick, and come out with Los Guerrero's we lie, we cheat, we steal, and everybody's like, oh yeah, keeping Eddie's memory alive. I say no, dude. I'm tired of people, and this is not a bitter thing, this is the truth. We worked hard for that last name. This whole family worked really, really hard to get that name to where it was, and we're tired of people prostituting it in a sense and using it for their benefit. So Rey Mysterio, I'm sorry that no one knows who Rey Mysterio Sr. is Rey Mysterio Jr. No one knows who he is, and I'm sorry that you have to latch on to the Guerrero family, and we're just kind of tired of it. So thanks for keeping Eddie's name alive. Thank you for keeping the Guerrero name alive, but we don't need you. We're good. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Rey could hold a candle to me right now, to be honest, Chavo responded when the host mentioned the idea of him versus Rey at WrestleMania 40. Now, Chavo then appeared to double down on these comments on Twitter, suggesting that Rey Mysterio should pay Eddie's family, saying, quote, if Rey Mysterio is really mentioning the Guerrero name only in tribute and not to line his own pockets with cash, maybe he'll donate some of that money to charity. Or even better, how about to Eddie's daughters? That will show myself and the fans that he's not prostituting the family name. After arguing with some fans in the comments, Chavo came back an hour later to indicate that it was all a ruse, tweeting, quote, this is how a heel should tweet. Hook, line, and sinker. I still got it. In response to a fan noting how Chavo was effing with us, the former WWE star claimed that it was all too easy. So, do you believe him? Was this just a case of him sharing his thoughts, airing his personal grievances, and then the heat got a bit fierce, so he backed off? Do you believe Chavo was actually trolling this whole time, or is he just backing off because people have been calling him out? Now, an update on WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. AEW commentator and Lawler's longtime commentary partner Jim Ross has provided an update to fans on Jerry the King Lawler, who is recovering from a stroke. Of course, Lawler suffered a stroke while at his condo in Florida on February 6th. The Hall of Famer was able to travel back to his home in Memphis, Tennessee in March. A public appearance at this week's Chiller Theater convention in New Jersey has been cancelled, prompting concerns from fans. Jim Ross has now taken to Twitter to share a positive update, noting that Lawler's voice got stronger the longer he spoke with him on Monday, that being yesterday, April 24th. Noting that Lawler has another procedure coming up, Ross said, quote, had a great 1 hour convo today with Jerry Lawler, who's recovering from the effects of a stroke. Jerry's voice seemed to get stronger the longer we spoke. The King will undergo a procedure next week to help with his situation. The 73-year-old's last public appearance prior to his hospitalization was over the February 4th to February 5th weekend at a signing in Florida. Lawler recently took to social media to show appreciation for his caregivers, and also as well, he did make that public appearance via a pre-recorded message at the Hall of Fame as part of the induction of Andy Kaufman into the Hall of Fame. So here's hoping that the King Lawler rather, can make a full recovery, and the road to recovery is a smooth one for the King. Finally, Kurt Angle in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, that's what Kurt Angle wanted. Hall of Famer Kurt Angle has revealed he reached out to Marvel about starring in an MCU movie. Following Olympic gold medal victories and successful WWE runs, Angle has entertained fans as an athlete for decades. Speaking on his Kurt Angle Show podcast, the popular star revealed that he tried on several occasions to enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Noting that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige actually responded to him, Angle said, quote, I tried so many times. It's not that easy. I ended up getting Kevin Feige's contact information. I reached out to him and told him that I'd be interested in doing a Marvel movie, and he actually responded to me, but nothing ever came of it. I got it from my nephew-in-law, John Bernthal. He actually gave me his contact information, so I talked to him, but unfortunately, nothing has occurred since then. Of course, Marvel fans will recognize John Bernthal from the Netflix Marvel series in which he played Frank Castle, the Punisher. It's been heavily rumored, spoilers, that Bernthal will reprise his role in the MCU, with reports indicating that he will be in the upcoming Daredevil Born Again Disney Plus series. Several former WWE names have appeared in MCU projects, with Dave Bautista playing Drax the Destroyer since the 2014 Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Former WWE Tag Team Champion David Otunga made a cameo appearance in an episode of the She-Hulk Disney Plus series as well. So you never know what wrestlers could appear in the MCU in the future. And if he was to be in the MCU, what character, what hero or villain would Kurt Angle play? Let me know your thoughts. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.